Good morning, everybody. So good to be here, to be with all of you, and I am grateful for all of you. I didn't get up and share my gratitude because I thought, I'm going to be up there talking, so here's my gratitude. I'm grateful for the breath in my lungs. I'm grateful to be here with all of you today. I am grateful for life and for joy, for the roof over my head, for the partner I share my life with, for my children, my family, everybody that I have encountered in the course of my life has contributed to the person I am today, as is true for all of you. This next week, and I failed to get it into the announcements. I meant to, but this next week on Thursday, I am participating in an online event. It's kind of a mixture of kind of a hybrid event. Um, it's called the Global Gratitude March. Thursday, in case you didn't know, is World Gratitude Day this Thursday. And so this event is going to be online and local, but it's called the Global Gratitude March. It starts at 4 until 8 p.m. And I will post the link on our Facebook page and share. I'll share it on all of our social media, so it'll be out there. So if you would like to join online, you can do that. I think it's going to be on YouTube, and so it'll be fun. And I will be speaking, and I'll tell you what time. Um, but anyway, so that's it. So that's part of that. So that'll be a thing later on this week. And gratitude works quite well with what I'm talking about today. The title is Beyond Imagining. And what we're really talking about is the creative process and the process that we work with in balancing being and doing. Spirituality in its very Eastern sense is very much about being. And in the West, we get wrapped up in the doingness. We get wrapped up in how can I create this? How can I manifest this? What can, all the stuff. And there's power and potentiality that lives in both sides of that. And they both come together, I believe, in this process we called life, in this thing we called life, in this process of creation and the creative process and doing and being and having and creating what we do. It's very easy to get wrapped up in all the stuff and all the words, all the ideas, all the little deep dives into, okay, well, what's getting in the way of this, and how do I create this, and is this the right word, and are these the right feelings, is this the right atmosphere? I mean, we get wrapped up in all of that, and there is value in that, no doubt, because the process helps us clarify, right? Sometimes shaking up what we think we know allows things to shake out, shake loose, and come back together in a way that serves us better, helps us clarify for ourselves what it is we really believe. And so as I go through this stuff, all the words, all the notes on the page that I worked out over the last few days, we will explore a lot of that and take some of the pieces and put them together, maybe in a way you hadn't thought about before, maybe in a way that will serve you. And if you grab one or two things out of what I have to share today, I call that a win. Because I know for myself, things always come up for me, and they come together in a new way every time I sit down to write a talk. They reform themselves for me in a new way. So as we begin today, the question I started with is, what is calling you? What is it in your life that you want to create that is calling you? So we're going to take just a moment today to allow you the time to sit with that. And I brought my own bowl. I know we have a bowl, but I brought my own because a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, I actually found a new little hammer for it because I had lost mine. So we're going to take a moment, and I want to allow you the time to just take a minute to be still with that question. what is calling you. So I'm going to play the bowl and allow you to let your eyes rest and just be with the sound and be with the question. So take a moment. What is calling you? What is calling you forward? What is calling you to grow? What is calling you to awaken? What is it that you are being asked to receive? You see, because all of these things are important. All these things are part of our growth, part of our expansion, part of our stepping into something new. It's a matter of becoming. So if you haven't already, take a minute, then open your eyes, take a breath. So we call it visioning, we call it imagining, we call it opening ourselves to what's possible, living in a world of possibility. Because I know for myself and my own process, I know I can get wrapped up in the busyness. It's very easy. And when I get wrapped up in the busy, I forget to be still. I forget to take the moments during the course of the day to just pause and breathe. I forget to take the moments to just stop and be and enjoy and take in the moment and think about the beauty that's around me, think about the people and connect with the people that are around me, to live life. Because it's very easy to get tunnel vision and get locked in and say, okay, I got to get this done. Don't you see the list? Don't you know about the list? Right? Because the list runs me. How many of you have that list? It may not be written. Is it written down or is it just live in your head? Both, yes. Right. And the multiple lists. There's my list, there's the job list, there's the family list, the stuff. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then we go into the New Testament, right? I'm going to shift gears quick. Hey, stay with me, folks. This is going fast. Oh, okay, so the ADHD is kicking in just a little bit. Happy birthday, my boy. My oldest is watching. He and Leah are watching, and it's his birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, Josh. You all met them back here in December when they were here. So, yes. So happy birthday. All right. New Testament, Matthew 6:33. Here we go. But seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all its righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Now, I was going to put parentheses and all this stuff in there, but I didn't do it. Righteousness can also be translated as right thinking. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness and its right thinking, and all these things shall be added unto you. But the key is seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. And like that, the next quote from Luke 17:21. Thank you. Luke 17:21. The kingdom of God, or heaven, does not come with observation, nor will they say, see here or see there, for indeed the kingdom of God / heaven is within you, or the other translation is in your midst. So it's within you and all around you. This is where we begin. seeking first the kingdom of heaven, turning within first. We start the process of creation, the process of creating our lives with turning within, with being still so we can listen to this here, so we can hear the whispers. So we can hear the still small voice that says, this is the gift I have to give. These are the gifts that I get to live, that I get to bring into the world. What is that gift for you? What is it that Spirit seeks to express through you? Spirit as you, in you, as you, through you. We all bring it into the world in our own unique way. As parents, as friends, as family members, as an employee, what are the gifts I get to give? It's like we just went through, the company I work through, we just went through our little annual employee, what's it called? Survey. Our own employee satisfaction survey. How are you feeling about the company you're working for? How are you feeling about your team, and on and on and on? And one of the questions is that we answer every year is, do you have the opportunity to do what you do best every day? And I really sit and, think about that. It's like, what is it, am I empowered to bring all of my gifts to bear in my job? And in one way or another, I can absolutely say yes. I am empowered to bring all of me to my job. I'm not restrained. I'm blessed, yes. And I get to do that at my day job, right? And I get to do that here as well. I get to bring all of me here. And I'm blessed. I am truly blessed to be able to do that. And that begins with my willingness, part of me empowering me to do that, and you, when you have the opportunity, empowering you to do that, begins with going inside and asking the question, what is it I have to give? What are the gifts that I get to express? And how do I get out of my own way to let that come forward? Because somewhere along the way, maybe, just maybe, I have been told, no, you don't get to be all of you. You're just a little too much sometimes. Yeah, sure. Oh, you can't do that here. And if we've bought into that, then it's like in some situations we're like, oh, but no, I can't do that. But you can. You see, because I get to express all of me. I get to be all of me. I get to create my life in accordance with my beliefs. I get to do that. I'm empowered by Spirit in me to do, be, and express all of that. See, we begin where we are today and then say, okay, say, just for argument's sake, say today I just take a full inventory. Like, what are the things I believe to be true about me? Good, bad, and different. Limiting, freeing, empowering, restricting, all of them. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying it's easier said sometimes, and sometimes it's not quite as easy to get it done. But what are the things that, if I had the opportunity, absolutely, to take the entire content of my consciousness and lay it out in front of me in two columns, saying, these are the ideas I'm holding on to that are freeing me, and these are the ones that are limiting me. Now, if I could take all the limiting ones and sweep them aside, what would that list be? Number one, this is to sweep them all aside. And on the other side, what are the ones that are freeing me? And I could and maybe ones that I could add to the list a little bit. add a couple, and I can fully embrace those and go forward with all of that. If I had that opportunity, would I do it? Probably. And some of those limiting ideas up until now have been, there's a belief in me that says they're keeping me safe. So the question is, how are they doing that? And keeping me safe from what? Keeping me safe from whom? Is there forgiveness to be done there? Is there letting go to be done there? Is there something in there that I've thought was self-love up until now? Maybe. Because I can speak, as somebody as a recovering addict myself, there were actions I took over the course of my life, over the course of my time in addiction, that I thought were loving and keeping me safe. They were taking care of me, that really weren't. But I told myself they were. So maybe that's true for something. Maybe that's true for something in your life. So that's a conversation to be had. You can reach out to Reverend Jill, reach out to me, reach out to Daniel, reach out to somebody and say, hey, I would like to talk this through. Or maybe you have a friend. But there are opportunities to clear that list. That list that says, that's holding me back, but maybe it's keeping me safe. I'm not quite sure. There's something there to explore that's worthy of exploration. Because all those beliefs, the beliefs on this side over here that says limiting, the beliefs over here on this side that says freedom, they're all working. They're all operating in my life. And the beauty of it is I get to choose. Right? I'm often fond of saying the biggest tool in our toolbox is choice. The biggest tool in our toolbox is choice. We get to choose. So, Ernest Holmes says in his Writes in the Science of Mind, the teachings of the mystics is that there should be a conscious courting of the divine presence. It's one of my favorite lines in the whole book. And once I grasped it, once I finally read it and it registered, right? I don't know, fourth, fifth time I read through the book probably was at the time this line really registered with me. The conscious courting of the presence, and we talk about spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. For me, the courting of the presence, that's the first two steps. Recognition and unification, right? First two steps of spiritual mind treatment, recognition and unification. We recognize that God is all there is, and I am one with it. It is moving in me, through me, and around me all the time. Courting the presence is really building that awareness. It's getting still inside of me and saying, God is all there is. It is life and love and truth and beauty. It is the beginning and the end of all things. And it is in this that I live and move and have my being, and it in, as, and through me in each every moment, every breath of I breathe, every thought I think, everything I see, touch, feel, and experience. This is the presence of God active in my life, in me. Right? And we go on and on and on until we really get it. courting the presence, inviting that awareness in us so that I don't need building the awareness and courting the presence to such a degree that I don't have to sit and close my eyes and be still and take a deep breath to be aware of it. I want to walk in it all the time. I want to be able to walk around my life and look out there and say, there too is the presence of God. To stop and breathe and say, yeah, and connect and feel the vibration like the bowl. To feel that vibration of spirit around me no matter what I'm doing. To walk in that awareness. That's where I want to be. And some days I get it, some days I don't. Some I have flashes of it or hours of it. But to live that way, wow. And I've met people over the course of my life, I know they're walking in it all the time. I can see them. People that walk with a sense of joy all the time. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to live. Some days are like that. And so living a life that is beyond imagining, beyond my imagination today, is getting to that point. Ernest goes on to say in another part of the book, within this infinite mind, each individual exists. The infinite mind being God, Spirit. Not as separated, and thanks for fixing that typo. I caught it this morning, but I didn't say anything. Not as separated, but as a separate entity. We are a point in universal consciousness, which is God, and God is our life, spirit, mind, and intelligence. We are each a point in universal consciousness, which is God, and God is our life, spirit, mind, and intelligence. So, how is this important? Because all of that exists within us. We are it. And it's very easy because our our senses tell us that we're separate. Our senses frequently, during the course of the day, give us messages that we're separate, right? I have to reach to get that tactile response from something outside of me, right? So my sense of touch tells me I'm separate. My sight tells me I'm separate. But that extra sense, that intuition, right? My mind, my heart, my consciousness tells me it's not. Tells me there's something greater. Tells me that, you know what? It may look that way, but it's really not. When I get still, even eyes open or eyes closed, when I get still and allow myself to center, take a breath, I can feel the connection. It's like, how often do Reverend Jill and I match on Sunday morning? Most Sundays. If we're both here, there is, and we don't talk on Sunday morning. I guarantee you that. We don't coordinate, not consciously at least, but we do. I mean, I kind of went. It was the purple one or the green one this morning, and I actually took the green one off my little tie rack and put it back. Said, nope, not green, purple. The universe works. I called you this morning. And no, I am not a Minnesota Vikings fan. Thank God. See? All right, come back. Okay. So, okay, I just looked at the clock. All right, friends. At the end of the chapter, what chapter is this? The end of chapter 20, What the Mystics Have Taught in the Science of Mind, page 346, Ernest Holmes writes this. In flashes of illumination, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality and have brought back with them a picture of what they saw and felt. They have taught that in such degree as one's concept of God is sufficient, evil disappears. How are we going to make this practical? And feeling this in our own meditation for practical work, for healing, for demonstration. This is what we mean by a method, a procedure, a technique, and a realization that accompanying the method and technique should always come as much of the realization as we can generate at that time. In the method and the technique, something is said. In the method and the technique, something is said. This is a moving thing. Talk about taking action, speaking our word, affirmations, reading, study, all of that. This is a moving thing. But when we reach that other place, illumination, nothing is said. Something is felt. I submit to you that where we are headed, the place we all seek, is that place beyond words. To live a life filled with joy, filled with love, that is beyond our ability to describe it in words. It is a feeling we are after. It is a feeling of connection, a feeling of engagement with life, a feeling with engagement with our environment, with the people, places, and things that we encounter on a day-to-day basis. There is something larger that we all seek. That's a balance between being and doing. Over the last couple months, in my own personal practice, I decided to engage with yoga. You might look at me and say, just now? I mean, I imagine Reverend Lee probably been doing yoga for years. Nope, just started. Been to 4 classes. Really, really like it. And as I was sitting down making my final notes about the class this morning, the beauty of it for me is that it is a balance between being and doing. There's the physical active engagement with the asanas and the positions and all the stuff. And there's the being part of it, is the breath work, being conscious about the inner process while I am engaged in holding the poses. It's the balance between the two. Like Qigong or my martial arts practice when I was younger, all of that, the balance between the two, the being and the doing. So we go back to thinking about all of this and all the stuff we kind of talked about this morning. And boy, I barely touched what I got, but it was good. It was fine. There is a letting go and there is an engaging. There's the being and there is the doing. And sometimes we fall apart a little bit before we emerge as something new. I was reminded this week 3 times this week. I heard it from 3 different sources, so I'm going to share it with you this morning. We remind you that In the process of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly, it turns into goo. It's literally true. The caterpillar makes the chrysalis and literally disintegrates into goo. And Reverend Joe reminded me that they are called, it kind of breaks down into goo, and there are imaginal discs. Isn't that a great word? Imaginal discs. And it's the coding in the imaginal discs that contributes to the transformation of the caterpillar to the butterfly. So it's the complete breaking down, much like our own process frequently. The breaking down of the old way to make room for the new. And contained within all of that is our own coding, pre-existent. In other words, the divine idea of us is just waiting to emerge. And there is effort involved in that. The breaking down, number one, and the two, the effort of breaking through the chrysalis is what forces all that fluid from the center to the edges of the butterfly's wings so that it can fly and become the beautiful, beautiful thing that it was intended to be, just like you and me. Now it's your turn. Questions, comments?
I'm reminded that several things you said today really triggered for me. We were taught in a workshop here about
Oh, there we go. There we go.
about the kingdoms.
There you go.
I turned it on twice. Okay,
There we
you go. Boot that thing, right? About the four kingdoms, and I think it was Reverend James Peake. We did a workshop, and sometimes we learn so many things here that we forget about it. And those kingdoms are where you're living, where you find yourself by your actions and your thoughts, and you think, I don't want to be living in kingdom one. That's really not who I am, or two. So we're striving for kingdom 3 or 4. And if you don't know about it, it's an important part of the teachings here. But one thing about kingdom 4, when you were showing what Ernest said about the mystics, that you need to divinely court the presence. It doesn't just show. I mean, it may be. And you also shared you wanted to walk through that door every day and have that be where you're living, kingdom 4. And I thought actively courting the presence is something I need to work at and something that I'm happy about. And I thank you for that.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Anybody else? Oh,
she turned it off.
Yeah.
Okay, so when
No.
you did this bowl here, I've had this before in my life, but when you did that, I felt something so uncommon, and so I couldn't recognize what that was. It was not a pain, but a vibration I wasn't aware of. Can you tell me what that is supposed to do for our inner?
It's just a sound that will help you center. That's all. Just so it spoke to you.
That was so unusual to me. Did anybody else get an unusual sensation with that bowl?
It's also healing. Sound is healing.
Yeah.
Because you're all vibration.
Right.
So there's a marrying of the sound with you.
That was wild.
So,
good.
yeah.
Thank
So
you.
it was-
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'll take some more of that.
All right. Don't ignore it. Yeah. No, the sound, the vibration was just speaking to you. That's all. Just speaking to you and waking you up just a little bit. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
Again, you're speaking directly to me today.
Good.
As far
Good.
as letting the ego getting control of me again versus just being. And there are moments when I do feel that I'm connected. I'm going, this is how it's supposed to be all the time, but now I got to get this list done.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen.
So when you were talking about the butterfly coming out of the chrysalis,
Mhm.
it reminded me of when we used to have eggs that were hatching, and we were told that if you want these chicks, that they themselves need to peck their way out of the shell without any help, because that's where their strength comes from.
Mhm.
And it's in the doing,
Mhm.
you know. I mean, they've been being for a little while, you know, in the egg. But yeah, that it just reminded me of that.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
great. Thank you for that. Thank you, Nancy. All right. Anybody else? All right. Let's go back to practicing the principles. So this week, there we go. So we talked about choices. What do you choose to be today? So each day we get to choose. So each day we get to wake up and set an intention for our day, for your week, for the rest of your life. But we're just going to take it day at a time, one day at a time. So what quality of divine life would you choose to be today? And I just gave you a list of some of the qualities: life, love, light, peace, power, beauty, joy, and wholeness. So my invitation to you this week is to wake up and say, what do I choose? What quality am I going to choose to embrace today? Okay. What quality am I going to choose to embrace today? So let's take all this in and set the intention for the rest of this day and this week as we begin by recognizing the one power and presence that is God in, through, and as each and every one of us. In this moment, we embrace and choose to express life and more life. Our life as love and peace and beauty, as power and poise, as health and wholeness, as enthusiasm, as we choose to walk into this day awake, alert, alive, and well. And we know that this blessing is true for each and every one of us here, and those listening to us out online now or later in this week. This is the truth of us, the truth of our being. And so with gratitude, we go forth into the rest of this day and into the week, knowing that all is well. We celebrate life, celebrate love, celebrate each other, and celebrate the life of God as it expresses and is reflected back to us in everything we see, touch, feel, and experience. And so we let go, knowing all is well. We let it be so, and so it is.